Hello, I'm Kate Morton and I'm a Brisbane-based novelist. Tonight's Australian story is a love story, so unlikely it proves the adage that true life can be more incredible than fiction. Sally Nielsen is 25 and she's a wedding planner. When her own fiance suffered a catastrophic stroke last year, she stuck by him. Now her efforts have produced an amazing medical breakthrough. This is the story of Sally and Sam.
I am Sam. Sam.
When I look at my son, Sam, and I look at how he is trapped in his body, I think, how can Sal have a relationship with him? Sam is not the man that Sal fell in love with, and maybe he will not be that man again.
Our life and our relationship has changed completely. It's a horrible thing to say, but taking care of Sam is in a way like having a child. It would have been easy to walk away and start a new life, but I didn't want to. That's my person. That's the person that I'm meant to be with, and we're meant to do this together, and we need each other.
Sal is totally committed to Sam. It's a love that is just so extraordinary.
We had all the way along researched every possible way to get Sam better. As a family, you do that. You sit on Google for hours, typing in every possible combination of words to find some sort of miracle drug or treatment that will bring your person back to you.
We learned about this drug and how it was doing wonders overseas. We read about people who had taken this tablet and within minutes were, from being vegetables, were talking and doing all sorts of things.
And it was like a light bulb. And I thought, Sam has to have this drug. But the doctors didn't want anything to do with it at all. They said it was risky.
It was almost like a last chance or a last hope we had. This miracle drug, this fantastic super medicine.
I remember the first time I met Sam. I was at uni and I was walking across the grounds and Sam was walking towards me and I just stood there in awe of this guy who was so handsome. He winked and that was it. I knew that was my person.
We are in our little tuk-tuk.
Sam had played the field a bit, but when she came along, we were convinced that she was the right person for him. And we fell in love with her too, I've got to tell you.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
I'm still shaking.
Well, Sam's entry into our life was a little bit like the human tsunami. He hit us like a fireball.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Thanks, boys.
Excellent, Sam. Happy 21st.
Big 2-1.
Sweet.
Sam was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when he was about 6 weeks old.
I do want my aunties, Mum. Good on you, dude. Let's go.
But he said, well, if I've got this thing, it's not going to stop me from doing anything I want to do. And that drove him.
Oh, that was sick. All right? That was awesome, mate. Nice.
Overconfident, very coggy. He was always keen to do better than everyone else. And usually he did.
Thanks, Joshy. How'd you go, Joshy? That was wicked. Thanks, bro. Loved it.
We planned to get married on May 8th, 2010, which would have been our 4-year anniversary. And being a wedding planner, I was super organised and everything was pretty much done and dusted within the first 3 weeks.
We'd just been to the venue and finalised all the wedding plans, and Sal and Sam were so excited. And it was almost probably a week later that Sam had his accident.
On Valentine's Day 2010, Sam was playing in a charity soccer match for his work as an accountant. And it was about midday when I got a call from Sam saying he didn't feel too well. When I arrived at the soccer field, I was told that Sam had actually headed a ball and scored a goal. He very quickly vomited, quite excessively, to the point where he couldn't even walk to the toilet. And Sam was actually screaming at the top of his lungs. And he was rocking back and forward saying, "My head's going to explode, my head's going to explode," the whole time. And that's when we knew it was really serious.
When Sam first came in, he had a sudden loss of consciousness. Because he was so deeply unconscious, we were quite pessimistic about his outcome.
And I got on the phone to my dad and I actually couldn't even talk. I just cried because that's when I knew that it was really bad.
We were told that he'd had 2 massive strokes. It was like a grenade had gone off in his brain. They said all of the intellectual cortexes of the brain were total white, what they call infarcts, which is total damage. And they also said that the occipital part, which is the vision part, was also wiped out. And so we were told that the prognosis was that he wouldn't live, but that if he did, he would be a vegetable.
There were up to 9 or 10 different teams working on Sam's condition. What caused it, we still don't know. But I cannot believe that hitting a soccer ball could have created the damage to Sam's brain that eventuated in his strokes.
The doctors themselves didn't know why he made it through at times. They didn't know. They just said why he's holding on, why he's there, and we just said, it's Sam.
When Sam was in the deepest of comas, and the advice we had was, look, nothing will get through to him. My wife and I saw Sal go up to his bed one day, give him a kiss and a cuddle, looked up the monitor and the blood pressure monitor spiked up, the heart rate monitor spiked up, and I think it was probably from that time on that we started getting more response from him.
Now move your head over to where you can hear this noise. Move your head all the way over.
He took weeks and weeks to wake out of the coma, and then he slowly started to respond, but the responses were agonised.
Come on, Sam, put your head down. I want your head to touch the pillow and then you can stop. And then after 45 days, he was able to move out of ICU.
Straighten those fingers out. That's it.
All the way.
More.
Come on.
Bit more, mate.
He could move his hand into a fist and open it again. He could lift his arm really slowly, but everything was a challenge.
Beautiful, mate. That's really, really, really good.
Well, we were worried about Sal on May the 8th. I knew that Sal, around that date, would be okay on the outside, but I wasn't too sure about her on the inside, as any bride would be on that day. I'm thinking that this is the day we would have got married.
I didn't cope very well at all, and I actually completely lost it. I'd say I probably had a nervous breakdown. But I picked myself up pretty quickly after that, dusted myself off, because what I was going through was nothing compared to what Sam was going through. Nothing at all. I initially took 4 months off work to be by Sam's side, and then reality set in and I had to go back to work because someone has to pay our mortgage. So that was a really tough time. Seeing someone standing there in a white wedding dress, ready to spend the rest of their life with their one person who was perfectly healthy, that was exceptionally difficult.
Okay, have some nice deep breaths.
The doctors continuously told us that he'd be brain damaged and said he'd never walk, he'd never breathe on his own, and I challenged it every step of the way.
Good job. That's excellent, Sam.
They were talking about sending him off to a nursing home. we were talking about having the opportunity to get some real therapy. We learnt about the brain injury unit at PA Hospital, and we finally won approval to get him there. It would have been in September.
This is day one of a new program.
We had some pretty dramatic recovery. He was walking.
You're walking, Sam.
Sal's not holding Sam, he's walking on his own. Totally.
I'm really hungry.
I'm really hungry.
And so he got to that stage by Christmas time, and it was pretty exciting.
Go, Sam. You're a show pony, aren't you?
But then it kind of stopped. There was very little progress beyond that, and it became frustrating for him. And I've got to admit, it became frustrating for us too, because we all had expectations of him continuing to improve.
She walked into the hospital one day and the social worker pulled her aside and said, Sally, don't get me wrong with what I'm going to say, but it is my job to tell you to not be afraid to walk away from Sam. You also have a life to live.
Day 212. Dear Sam.
I started thinking, what would I do if this was it for the next 40, 50 years and he can't talk and we don't know 100% that he's in there? What am I going to do? Should I give up my hopes and dreams of having children and having a nice life?
I should be pushing a pram, not a wheelchair.
And then I started to think that Sam's going to be missing out on all those things as well, so why not miss out on all of them together? As long as we've got each other, it doesn't matter if we don't have a beautiful home and great careers or children. As long as we're together, that's all that matters.
We have always believed, as a family and with Sal, that Sam's brain is not nearly as damaged as they have told us many times. We're looking for the miracle cure. Let's face it, you're a parent, you're grasping.
Sal and I came across this sleeping tablet called Stillnox and how it was having a different reaction on brain injury victims to people simply wanting to sleep. We found that it had been first discovered with a brain injured patient in South Africa 10 years ago with a family member who was sick of the groaning one night and gave the person a Stillnox sleeping tablet just to try and, I suppose, shut them up. This is someone who'd been gone for years. Moments later, that person's talking and conversing and sounding quite intelligent. So we started talking to the doctors about it and we got a very negative view. They just couldn't see it helping Sam, and there's no doubt they're also a little bit risk averse too.
We found out it had a pretty bad reputation. A lot of people had some incidents of sleepwalking and harming themselves and other people while on the drug. So we were a little bit cautious, but we knew it was time to start taking some responsible risks in Sam's recovery. We needed a prescription for it, and none of the doctors would give us a prescription for Sam.
It simply became our mission to convince the doctors to give him a go.
Sammy, you have to wake up now.
On the 13th of May, we brought him home. I don't think they saw any further prospects for him beyond that.
So I'm just going to take him to the toilet before I give him the drug.
After obsessive and constant nagging from Sal and Leslie and I, we got agreement to trial him on Stillnox about 3 weeks ago.